Hello everyone, so today's video we're talking about the case of Randy Leach. And this is a case when I was initially kind of looking at the basic details of it, I was going to put it into a mini cases video, but when I actually started to read into it, I decided I wanted to make it its own video. The details in it are there's not a whole lot, but they are very sad, and when I was going through the photos, to get an idea of who Randy was and all of that. Just seeing the photos of his parents, it just broke my heart, especially in one photo behind them on their wall. There's I can only assume it's from every year. You know how some parents do a photo of their children every single year, until they get to a certain age or something. They had that going up on the wall behind them, and you could just see the progression of him getting older, and it just broke my heart knowing that they're still living in this hell, not knowing what happened to their son. And I really just wanted to talk about it. This case is, like I said, there's not a whole lot of information. It is weird to me, but we're going to get into that. All the links I used for research will be down below, like always. There's probably information that I've missed. I do encourage you to go do your own research. There's also a link to a case suggestions form if there's anything you'd like me to talk about in particular. And there is also a link to my other podcast, Sinister, if you would like to check that out. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. So Randy Wayne Leach was described as the compassionate and loving son of Alberta and Harold Leach. He enjoyed spending time with loved ones and friends, and he never hesitated to help them when there was an opportunity to do so. He grew up on a 10-acre farm in the small town of Linwood, Kansas, where the population was 377 people. That is tiny. On their farm, he had rabbits, chickens, a horse, a dog, and a pig named Pork Chop. I thought that was so cute. He earned A's and B's in school. He played basketball and tried out for track. So he was just your average kid. He did well in school. He had extracurricular activities. He loved the people that he was around. He came from the small town in Kansas, just your regular teenage Midwest person. And in a lot of ways, I can actually see myself in Randy because I also played basketball. I didn't grow up on a farm, but I grew up in a rural area in the Midwest. Family and friends being the number one thing, a very small town. I relate to him in a lot of ways because of that, and so I saw myself in that. He also had his own lawn mowing service and planned to cut lawns for the summer before going to trade school in the fall. On April 15th, 1988, his parents said that he was in a good mood. They had just bought him a John Deere tractor the day before, which he used to cut the yard of a neighbor before returning home, where he spent 4.5 hours mowing his parents' lawn. When he finished, he cleaned the tractor before he showered, and he decided to get ready to go out for the evening. He made a few stops before he reached the pre-graduation party that he was going to be going to that night. And this party was hosted by Kim Irwin at the Irwin farm. Partygoers say it's strange that no one remembers seeing him leave the party, but they know that he was there. And we also know that his mom's gray 1985 Dodge 600 with the license plate LVJ 8721 that he drove to this party also remains missing. On April 16th, his parents reported him missing to Leavenworth County Sheriff's Department. To date, neither Randy or the vehicle have been located, and witness interviews with partygoers have led to minimal leads. There is a $25,000 reward that has been out for years for any information that leads to, I believe, an arrest or something of that sort in this case. So they've had this reward out for years. And I think it's weird that they're like, yeah, we saw him show up in his mom's car. We saw him at this party, but no one remembers seeing him leave. Now, we don't know exactly how many people were at this party. Definitely not that many. Like in Leavenworth, if it's only the graduation party for the people from Leavenworth, not Leavenworth, I'm sorry, Linwood, because Leavenworth is the sheriff's department. I got that confused. I'm sorry. If it's only the graduates from Linwood, Kansas, there's only 377 people in Linwood, Kansas. That's probably give or take some people. There's not that many graduates, you know what I'm saying? So how could there possibly a party so small that nobody remembers seeing him leave? What was going on that you don't remember this? Was there, I'm sure there probably was, maybe some drugs and alcohol. They're teenagers. And they didn't want to say why. They just were like, oh, we just don't remember seeing him leave. Were they so engrossed in other things? Like, why don't you remember it? Because I feel like if there's that many people, even if he was just like wanted to like Irish goodbye, someone saw him leave. You know what I'm saying? And that's just going with the assumption that it's just the graduates from Linwood. Was there like maybe graduates from neighboring towns, which maybe, and it's a bigger party, and maybe there's just so many people there they didn't see him leave, but they remember seeing him there. It's just kind of weird for me. It's kind of like, could somebody there be hiding something? Like, did somebody do something to him there and people are covering up? That's kind of like the vibe I got, because how does nobody there know anything? There's all these witnesses and nobody saw anything. It gave me a weird vibe. Now, I was just talking about like the party size, and in my notes I have scrolled down that some articles say that there was like 50, 70 people, and then supposedly up to 150 guests. Now, we don't have an exact number, so that could be like a fairly decent size to a fairly big party. But even so, if it's if I'm sure he has friends there, none of his friends remember seeing him leave, and none of his friends were with him a lot that night. It's still just very weird. Um, Witnesses did say that he did act drunk, but it's unsure if he actually had um any alcohol. I'm not sure like why that was a statement made, but apparently, and this is only in an article once that I saw, he had told a friend that he didn't know what was wrong with him. So I guess like he was acting drunk, he didn't have any alcohol, and he was acting like there was something weird with him. And when I read that, that kind of made me feel like maybe someone, maybe he wasn't drinking alcohol, he was drinking something else, but maybe something was put into his drink. Maybe he was drugged or something. That's kind of what that felt like to me. He may have left between 1:30 to 2 a.m., but some say maybe as late as 2:15, but no one say that they actually saw him leave. The house where the party was at was destroyed by a fire shortly after he vanished. There were rumors that he was abducted and killed by a satanic cult that was supposedly active in the area. And it's the 80s in a small town. The satanic panic is definitely going on. So obviously there's going to be a satanic cult theory in here somewhere. I don't know if I put a whole lot of stock into that, because I don't think satanic cults were as prevalent as people at that time would like you to believe. But that was a theory that he was abducted um, by a satanic cult. Later in 1988, a man told police that he'd been kidnapped by the cult, and he was held in a cave for 2 weeks and had seen a corpse there that might have been Randy's. Police searched the cave, but there was no evidence of a crime that had even been committed there, and they believed that he actually hallucinated this while high. 3 men were arrested in early 1993 on suspicion of his murder, but they were released without charges several days later. To this day, there's still really no information. Anybody with information is urged to contact the Leavenworth County Sheriff's Department. Um, or Kansas Bureau of Investigation at 1-800-KS-CRIME. And that is the case of Randy Leach. So, like I said, we don't have an exact answer or amount on guess. But I just feel like if you're there and he sounds like the kind of person who would have quite a few friends. And I feel like it's kind of weird that none of your friends saw you leave. Like, you didn't say goodbye to any friends, you know? And if you're saying to say, like, this, there was alcohol and stuff here, but we don't think he was drinking alcohol, but he said he felt like something was wrong. You're not concerned about your friend when he's acting weird. I don't know. There's just some things that stick out to me that don't make sense. And it kind of feels like there are people that are covering up for something else that happened at this party. And then the farm actually being destroyed by a fire, not long after he vanishes. I'm not saying like somebody would like burn down this farm to cover something up, but it is a little weird. Like, the timing is definitely odd, you know what I'm saying? But with that being said, let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think happened to Randy? Thank you so much for listening to his story, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye, guys.